Ba-da-bum, 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 ba-da-bum.
All right, Week 8 NFL. Got a good matchup here as far as fantasy goes. Started off Thursday night. Atlanta's at Carolina. Looks like McCaffrey is not going to play in this game, so Mike Davis fantasy owners get one more week out of him before he turns into a pumpkin. Atlanta. Anytime you got fantasy guys playing against Atlanta, it's exciting. And this week is no different. And let's face it, if you got Ridley or Matt Ryan or Gurley, you're excited about that too, because Atlanta's going to be in these high-scoring games typically that produce fantasy points. So Carolina will win the game because they're the better team. But hopefully we get a nice shootout start to the week and get yourselves on the boards in your fantasy matchups. All right, so Sunday, the early games, and we've got 8 early games in the early window. So good job there finally. New England is at Buffalo, and boy, I tell you, Buffalo. Once Brady left New England, Buffalo was like, all right, we're ready to take the mantle here. And do something, and really they can basically put New England out of it with a win here. Let me look at the standings here real quick. So Buffalo is 5-2, and New England is 2-4. So if the Bills were to win, they'd go up 3.5 games halfway through the schedule. They'd have a win. They'd be 4-0 in the division, so they'd basically own a tiebreaker. So they'd essentially be up 4.5 on New England with only half a season remaining. So they can basically not necessarily lock up the East because Miami's still 3-3, but they can basically end the Patriots' run with a win today. And because of that, that somehow New England's going to end up winning the game. I know they looked terrible last week against San Francisco, but when Belichick's guys back to the wall, that's when they're dangerous. And I don't know that Buffalo's ready to put the nail in the coffin yet. They've struggled the last couple of weeks. And I just feel like New England's going to find a way to win this game, even though all logic tells me that Buffalo should win the game. But I'm going to take New England because I don't think they're dead just yet. Tennessee is at Cincinnati. The Bengals have almost pulled up some upsets here, which would have been nice because it would have knocked some people out of the survivor pool I'm in, but they're hanging around. And listen, Tennessee will win this game. I think their defense will be able to overwhelm Burrow. I know he played well against the Colts, who supposedly have a good defense, but Tennessee is one of the best teams in the league, and they're not gonna slip up here. So I'll take Tennessee. Las Vegas is at Cleveland. The Browns no OBJ the rest of the year. We'll see how that affects their offense. I keep hearing that Mayfield actually plays better when Beckham's not in the lineup. I don't know about that, but I'm sure there's some statistics that kind of support that argument. But I don't look at statistics. I just know that the Browns are missing one of their better players. And the Raiders, they're another one of these teams that are middling, like the Browns, where they have talent to win, but they're not consistent. I'm going to take the Raiders to win this game. I just don't trust Cleveland to bounce back. I know that they got the last-minute win, but that was against the Bengals. Baker's not throwing 5 touchdowns this week. This will be a good game, but I'll take. Listen, I got to pick somebody. I'm going to take the Raiders. Indianapolis is at Detroit. The Colts, what is the Colts record? I don't even know what the Colts are up to here. It feels like they win every week, but I know they're not that good. They're 4-2. Detroit is 3-3. I'll take the Colts here. I don't trust Detroit in an even matchup. Just because they're Detroit. But I don't have any other analysis other than that, and I don't really care about this game. But I'll take Indianapolis. Uh, Minnesota's at Green Bay. Again, it should be a nice, fun, high-scoring game. Packers are the better team. I know Vikings get Dalvin Cook back, but I'll take Green Bay. Jets are at Kansas City. I tried hard to hold off in my survivor pool to hold Kansas City until this game, but I had to take them last week against Denver because I didn't trust Philly at the Giants, and I don't know that there was another kind of easy looking game on the schedule, so I had to burn Kansas City last week. But if you got Kansas City and you're still in a survivor pool, congratulations, you're headed to week 9 because there's no way the Jets win this game. Kansas City will win easy. LA Rams are at Miami. Tua gets the start here. Interesting spot going against a pretty good Rams defense. Let's see how he responds. I think this is probably a tough. I know coming out of the bye, making the change of QB, it kind of makes sense there. But this is not the best defense for a rookie to be going up against. But we'll see. We'll see if Tua can generate his own kind of magic here. But I just think the Rams defense is going to be able to kind of slow this team down. And I'll take the Rams to win the game. Pittsburgh's at Baltimore, classic AFC North. Expect a 13-10 game here as usual. The Ravens coming off the bye. Steelers are undefeated. I mean, this is for, well, there's 7 teams in the playoffs now, so this is not for potentially a bye. Well, it could be. I mean, if the Steelers win, I mean, they're 7-0. But definitely the winner of this game is looking good to win the division, and possibly get the number 1 seed, because Kansas City has lost the game. But I'm gonna stick with the Steelers because, man, I'm taking a lot of road teams this week. Yeesh. Not that it matters though. There's no fans, so it doesn't really matter. I think Pittsburgh. I just think Baltimore doesn't have it together still. They got to figure out, they got to be consistent running the ball, which that's just a thing that you hear people on football shows say. But that's what they do. They run the ball, and they got to do a better job of it. But Pittsburgh's just clicking on all cylinders. I think they're ticked off because of they were forced to take their bye early, and I think that's put a kind of chip on their shoulder. And listen, Ben's playing well, and the Steelers are always a good team. So I'll take Pittsburgh in this one. LA Chargers are at Denver. These are Sunday late afternoon games. The Chargers are at Denver. We'll see what the weather's like again for this one. What is the weather in this one? I don't see a little weather icon, so maybe it'll just be a little chilly. But listen, Justin Herbert's been a fantasy sensation. Denver's defense, could cause a problem here. But I'll take the Chargers to win. I just think that the team has a lot of confidence in him, and they've got. And listen, Chargers have a good defense as well, so it's not like Denver's going to go up and down the field either. I'll take the Chargers. New Orleans is at Chicago. Supposedly going to be very windy there, so it's going to be difficult to throw. And the Saints again may not have Michael Thomas. I don't think Emmanuel Sanders can come back yet. So they're going to be struggling to throw the ball. Now, fortunately, they have the best running back in the game, Alvin Kamara. And the Bears, listen, they got off to a good start. Nick Foles was kind of making some magic happen. I didn't like what I saw against the Rams last week. Now, again, the Rams are a good defense, but you're starting to wonder if maybe the magic might run out a little early. Both teams have good defenses. I'm expecting a low-scoring game, but I just like the Saints to be able to at least run the ball in this game, and I'll take New Orleans to win. San Francisco's at Seattle. The Seahawks. I mean, man, when they play Arizona, like the games are ridiculous, and I still can't believe Seattle lost that game the other night. They just seemed like they had the game in hand, and then out of nowhere, Arizona snuck up on them and beat them. But they'll beat San Francisco this week. They're down to their third and fourth running backs. You don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo in a big game. And listen, I'm not betting against Russell Wilson with this team. So I'll take the Seahawks. And Sunday night, you get the freaking Cowboys at the Eagles. Again, this is one of the most disgusting seasons in Cowboy history, and yet here we are sitting here a half game out at first, and I don't even know. You kind of wish they'd just lose and we just be done with it, because even if you somehow win the division, who cares? You're not going anywhere, But listen, this team. The problem with this team is they don't. And this is long standing now. I mean, whenever a key guy gets hurt on the Cowboys, the whole team folds. Like they never respond to a key injury. Other teams, they rally around it. I mean, Philly won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. When their quarterback goes down, or when somebody loses a run. I mean, other franchises, they find a way sometimes to stay competitive, even though they lose a key offensive guy. And the Cowboys never seem to do. Whenever Romo got hurt, the season was over. When Zeke got suspended, they folded that year too, cost them the playoff spot. I mean, even the '90s teams were not immune to this either. I mean, whenever one of the triplets were out, it was like, I guess we're going to struggle in this game, because we don't have one of the big three. And of course, I mean, we're going way back here. I mean, when Emmett held out in '93, 2 games, everything fell apart, and then Charles Haley put a helmet through the wall, and then that was that. If you even want to go back even further, the 1990 team that was 7-7 on their way to possibly a playoff spot, and then Aikman gets hurt, and they completely collapse the last 2 games. I mean, so I don't know what it is about these Jerry Jones-owned teams that don't respond when guys get hurt. So I mean, I don't know if it's an organizational thing or not, but there's certainly enough evidence over the last 30 years to make you wonder what the hell's going on. And listen, I don't expect the Cowboys to win this game. I'm going to pick them to win, because what else am I going to do? Because somehow, rather than just lose and be done with it, that somehow they're going to find a way to win this game and force everybody to continue to be interested in this team. Because if they win, I mean, they're tied for first. At 3-5. I mean, it's just ridiculous. This disgusting game. My son's got a playoff tournament that day anyway, so hopefully I'll just be out of it and I'll get home at halftime. But who cares? Who cares about this game? Monday night, Tampa's at the Giants. The Tampa's going to win. I mean, the Giants are just. I mean, listen, the Giants couldn't hold an 11-point lead with 6 minutes left against a depleted Eagles team. They're not beating anybody serious. Tampa Bay is stomp all over them, and that'll be that. So there you go. Like I said, my son's league playoff tournament is Sunday. I mean, maybe they'll get knocked out early and we'll go home and get to watch some football, but they'll probably end up winning a couple of games and possibly winning the whole thing, because they're the best team in the league. But again, Sunday night game, we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on that. And then there you go, Week 8 NFL.